Greetings, my brethren. Greetings. Let me get a little bit of coffee in me here. Ah, sweet nectar, sweet nectar. How's it going, dudes? This is B.Jr. from Endurance Productions YouTube channel. B.Jr.'s Movie Cave, of course, hanging out in the cave today. And we're going to talk about a list of movies today. Now, usually I shy away from doing these lists because it's kind of a daunting task because tastes change. My tastes change regularly in movies, but I think I've honed it down to 10 slasher favorites. Yes, that's right. I've been noticing some videos here lately for some of my viewers that watch my videos and I watch theirs. Some of the people I subscribe to have been doing top 10 slasher horror movie favorites. As I said before, I shy away from doing these videos because my lists change. I get new movies in that I like better now and stuff like that. It's like a shell game all the time. But I went ahead and picked out some favorites off the shelf back there. It's fun doing these list videos every once in a while. So what I did was I picked 10 slasher favorites that I based on two categories: sheer fun nature, that I can always watch and they're kind of like a go-to selection. I can always pull them off and have a good time. And two, the sheer rewatchability of it. The ones that I never get tired of, that I can watch just about any time of the year, regardless of Halloween or holiday favorite, holiday-induced horror movie. So let's just dive right in here, guys. I'll do my best. The first four on the list are going to be kind of like what they call in college required reading. Required reading movies that you just about have to have on the list and are going to show up on just about anybody's list. I'm not going to be able to say much of anything different than anybody else can say about them. I do notice that most of my selections today are on Blu-ray. I've been lucky enough to collect these along the way on high def, so I'll try to say a few words about the high def transfers along the way, things like that. So just know that the first four or so are going to be like the required reading collection. So and then I'll get more into the B.Jr. favorites that are kind of probably not on your list. So let's dive right in. The immortal slasher favorite, Friday the 13th original on Blu-ray here. Pound for pound is probably one of the most watched. I can watch this. I have to watch it every Friday the 13th every time it rolls around on the calendar. And I also have to watch it at Halloween as well. I would probably go for the high def version of this, guys. I do sport the box set back here and I have regular standard def of it just in case. But this special edition does have commentary with Sean Cunningham, the director. It does splice back in a few extra seconds of elongated gore scenes from Tom Savini. I prefer to watch it that way. The transfer on this is pretty good. I give it at least probably about an 8 out of 10. There are some few small scenes in there where it doesn't look like they touched them up much, but they're far and few between. They're kind of seamless. But Friday the 13th original, gotta have it on the list in the required reading category. Another one that you just about have to have on your list is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original on Blu-ray. Highly recommend this Blu-ray. It looks awesome. The sound is great. A lot of people are always on the fence about Nightmare on Elm Street being a slasher. I disagree with that. You've got a killer with a weapon of choice. It's just that he's doing it in dreams primarily in this movie. It's kind of like the movie that came along in the mid-'80s that took the slasher genre and kind of revitalized it and said, hey, all bets are off. Killer can be in the dream now. He can do whatever he wants. But you still have a killer with a gimmick that basically goes around knocking off teenagers one by one. So that qualifies in my book as one of the greatest slashers ever. Nightmare on Elm Street, dark, gritty. A lot of people forget about it because later on, Freddy Krueger became more funny and all that. But you got to remember, in the first one, he's a killer. He's in dreams. He's very scary. You got to have it. Third one here, probably one of the granddaddy categories here. Granddaddy of the slasher, Texas Chainsaw Massacre original by Tobe Hooper. Blu-ray is highly recommended, guys. It's a high definition transfer from the 16mm Eco camera negatives. I don't know what they did with this little gritty looking movie, but they really cleaned it up, guys. I highly recommend the Blu-ray transfer. Even the DVD transfer of this, the steelbook that came out to coincide with the Dark Sky release, the gold version. Highly recommend it too. It looks awesome. I mean, whatever they've done with it, guys, it looks great. It sounds great. It's been reborn by Dark Sky Films. can't say enough about the transfer, but it's got all the special features you could want on this version of it. More importantly, you've got a lot of people out there say, well, it's not really a slasher movie, it's about crazy people. Well, I beg to differ, guys. This movie is probably one of the granddaddy of slasher movies because you've got a killer here, much like Nightmare on Elm Street. Here's a good comparison. You've got a killer with a weapon, a killer with his weapon. You know, hey, knocking off kids one by one. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it's a slasher, guys. It's just done differently, and that's what I like about it, and that's why it's stuck all these years. I mean, that's why it's kind of a modern classic, because it's not only about a one particular killer that stands out, it's about a family of killers, just craziness to the max in this movie. Gotta have it on your list, Texas Chainsaw Massacre original. Pardon me there, guys. Another one that is probably to round out the required reading category, as I call it, Halloween, gotta have it. Modern classic. This movie shows up on Turner Classic Movies at some points in the year. It turns up on AMC. That's when you know you've got a good one. And it capitalizes mostly by being one of the most innovative slashers of its time. The Blu-ray is highly recommended. This has been a Blu-ray budget range purchase since the time it came out, guys. It's an Anchor Bay release. Highly recommend picking this one up. It is the best way to view it, in my opinion. Now, there's been some people out there talking about the blue filters and all that stuff in the camera. And the movie looks great. It sounds great. Get it on Blu-ray, even if you have a different version of it on DVD. Highly recommend the viewing experience of the original theatrical cut, this one right here. It does have some special features on it, guys, but I won't go too much into that, because mainly we're just talking about my favorite slasher movies. This is one of my definite favorites, one of my most watched. The characters are great in it. It's just one of those you can't go through either the Halloween season. I actually watch this one probably about 2 or 3 times a year. I mean, it's just one of those I can watch about any time, a go-to selection. I'm a John Carpenter nut too, so it's kind of a twofer that way. Halloween, can't say enough about it. Let's get into the middle of the list here, guys. The rest of the selections on the B.Jr. top 10 slasher list here are going to be probably not the same ones on your list, but they're mainly going to be ones that I can go to, I can have fun with at any time, and I'll tell you the reasons why as we go. Coffee's good today, guys. Next one I have on my list is the Blu-ray version of The Prowler, Joseph Zito direction with Tom Savini effects. Sad to report there's not a whole heck of a lot of new special features on this Blu-ray that wasn't on the prior Blue Underground DVD release. But Blue Underground did do an excellent job with the sound of this movie. They gave it a 7:1 DTS audio with 5:1 surround sound, and they even threw in the English mono track for it as well. It sounds great. The picture quality, sad to report, is not light years beyond the DVD. However, it looks better than the DVD. It is a higher resolution that you can watch. It basically, it's just like I said, it's not one of those that they could really do a whole lot to clean it up. It was a low budget picture. I've seen some low budget pictures like Texas Chainsaw Massacre look light years beyond what it had been before. They just didn't do a whole lot to clean up the transfer. However, if you want to, I'm turning into more of a Blu-ray snob nowadays anyway if I can find a deal on it. Highly recommend picking it up on the Blu-ray. It is the best way to view it in terms of picture quality and sound. However, if you've got the DVD of it and you're not really looking to spend a whole lot of money or anything like that, probably stick with your DVD until they re-release it in a more cleaned up format. Next one on my list, guys, My Bloody Valentine. I was kind of on my fence about the required reading on this one because it does show up in a lot of people's list. It is the original, no remakes on my list, guys. I highly recommend picking up the special edition one they put out a couple years ago. Whether you get it on DVD or Blu-ray is irrelevant. However, the Blu-ray looks awesome. I give it about a 7.5 out of 10. It does have some scenes in it where it doesn't look like they've cleaned it up too much. And I'm not even talking about the scenes that they splice back in. The whole purpose of getting the special edition one of this, they put the extra gore scenes back in, which you can watch in a branching version or just watch the theatrical cut as well. Highly recommend picking this up because these particular scenes that they put back in this movie, I do feel enhance the overall viewing experience. I have a better time watching those when they're put back in, and you can watch it in that way. However, those scenes, they couldn't do a whole lot to clean them up because they were just found footage and they were so old that you're going to be able to tell the scenes that get spliced back in if you're really watching the film. However, I don't think it takes away from the viewing experience. I think it only adds to it. My Bloody Valentine, undeniably on my list. Gotta have it. You can watch it at February, Valentine's Day, or Halloween, or any time. Here's the one on the list that's probably going to shock you the most why it's on my list, and I'll tell you why. Let me get a little bit of coffee here. A lot of people are going to be like, why is that on his list? I can't understand why. Well, it's because it's a good slasher, and I go to it a lot, and I've got to put it in there. Lucio Fulci's The New York Ripper. Best viewed on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is awesome. It looks awesome. It sounds awesome. It's been cleaned up. Really enjoy this film. I can watch this film. It's not held down by any holiday or anything like that. If I'm just in a slasher mood and I don't want to watch some of the other ones I've watched a lot, I pull out The New York Ripper. Mainly because the killer's off the wall, all the daunting telephone calls. He talks like Donald Duck to the policeman he's taunting, trying to catch him. It's definitely an Italian-based slasher, so you're going to have that feel to the movie. There's some dubbing going on in the movie. It does have some special features behind the scene. The Blue Underground did re-release this on Blu-ray already in an anniversary edition that has more special features on it. This one does have an interview with Zora Kirova, New York locations then and now in the theatrical trailer, so it's a little light on the special features, but I did get a good deal on this version of it, which has still got the upgraded picture quality and sound. Highly recommend picking this one up if you're a Fulci fanatic, or if you just like slasher films in general. This will be one of those you can watch, you can laugh at, you can have fun with. It's got great gore scenes in it. I just always have a good time with The New York Ripper.